In hierdie les gaan ons kyk na die verskillende karakters in ons roman Die Krippelengel. Kom ons begin. Wat doen die karakters in 'n roman? Dit is die mense in die verhaal wat dinge doen en gebeurtenisse beleef. So they do things and they experience events. Almal het bepaalde gedagtes, thoughts en emosies, emotions. Almal is nie ewe belangrik nie. They are not all equally important en elke karakter vervul 'n ander funksie. Each character plays their own role. Reg. So die verskillende karakters wat ons kry. Eerstens kry ons wat ons noem ronde karakters. Nou hierdie ronde karakters is karakters wat volledig uitgebeeld word. In other words, we get to know these characters really well. We see all sides of them. We get to know their emotions, what they think, and how they experience things. Byvoorbeeld, die hoofkarakter, the main character. And another word for the main character is die protagonist, and you need to know this term. Dit is die persoon om wie die gebeure draai. Die neewekarakters ondersteun die hoofkarakter en hulle is eintlik almal plat karakters. Hulle help om die agtergrond te vul, they fill in the background. Hulle is gewoonlik stereotypes, they are stereotypical en hulle verander en ontwikkel nie soos die storie verloop nie. They do not change and develop. They are simply background noise, if we can put it like that. They color in the background to make the story full. Right. So ons plat karakters in die Krippelengel. Aunt Leia werk in die kombuis op Engelsplaas. Pa Ad is Tina se grootmaakpa. So he is the father that raised her, Ma Letty se man. Aunt Merlin is Jacob se ma, and she has a drinking problem. Klein Attie en Margaret is Tina se boetie en sussie, Tina's siblings. Dominee Buffel is the reverend at the church. Anne-Marie, Louisie en Lindiwe is Tina se maats by die skool, by die dorpsskool. Right, her friends at school. And Aunt Caitlin and Uncle David. Now Aunt Caitlin is Aunt Leia's daughter. Aunt Leia se dogter. And Tina, when she cannot go home from the residence over weekends, she spends her weekends with Aunt Caitlin and Uncle David in the little township called Martha se Kris. But she doesn't really enjoy spending time there because they are very poor. And then she feels like she is a burden to them. All right. So these are the additional characters in the story, and you need to know where they fit in. Let's look at our ronde karakters. So the first one we're looking at is Tina Lou, want Tina is ons hoofkarakter. She is our main character. Sy lyk anders as haar maats. She looks different, right? Haar hare is gladder, and it's important that you know these things. Her hair is smoother than the other girls. Haar neus is skerper. Her nose is more pointy than the other girls. Haar boude is kleiner. Her bum is smaller than the other girls. And she is very self-conscious of these things. Sy is selfbewus want haar maats terg haar. Her friends make fun of her. Sy is slim, she is clever, en sy vaar goed op skool, she does well at school. Sy dink diep oor dinge, en sy kan goeie waarnemings maak. She makes good observations, right? And she thinks deeply on things. She's forever thinking about things in the Bible. Sy is beleefd, she is courteous, en sy het goeie maniere. She has good manners. Sy wil graag 'n goeie opvoeding kry. She wants to get a good education, en sy wil nie 'n arbeider word nie. She doesn't want to become a farm worker. Sy is baie volwasse, she is very mature for her age. Sy is kreatief, she is very creative. Sy kan baie mooi teken, she can draw very well. En sy kan ook goed skryf. She writes very well. Beautiful poems and essays. Sy is vasberade. She is hardworking and she doesn't give up. When she puts her mind to something, she goes all the way. Reg, dit is vir haar baie belangrik om te weet wie sy is. Haar sterk soeke na selfbewustheid, to know who she is. And this quote from page 14 describes Tina the best. Om te weet wie jou pa is om te is. To know who your father is means to be. So, and this is the central theme in the story. Tina is looking for who she is and where she fits in. And you will see this coming through time and time again as we go through the notes. And this quote is very important. Om te weet wie jou pa is om te is. This emphasizes her search for who she is and where she fits in. Let's look at the next character. Jakob. Goed. Jakob is die krippelengel wat aan Tina verskyn. Hy en Tina het saam groot geword en hy het epileptiese aanvalle gekry. He had epilepsy. When he was little, he fell into a steaming pot of porridge. Hy het met sy gesig in 'n kokende pot pap geval en verbrand. He got burnt very badly. Later het hy selfmoord gepleeg. Hy het voor 'n trein ingeloop. So when he was a teenager, he committed suicide. He walked in front of a train. Jakob verskyn as 'n engel aan Tina om haar te herinner dat sy 'n doel het in die lewe. So he appears as an angel to Tina to remind her that she has a purpose in life. That is the reason. Hy verskyn 4 keer aan Tina. Alright, so there's 4 times that she sees him. The 4th time continues a couple of times, but we're basically breaking it down as 4 times. So let's look at the details of those 4 meetings. Die eerste keer is right in the beginning of the book. Dis langs die N1 toe Tina wou wegloop, when she wanted to run away from home. Hy het gery loop. He was hitchhiking. Reg? He got out of a red motorcar, 'n rooi motor. Hy het baie vuil klere aangetree. His clothes were very dirty. Sy broek was amper swart. So dirty was his pants that it was almost black. The shirt was so dirty that she couldn't even see what the original color was. Hy het ook gestink. He didn't smell good because he was so dirty. Sy een oog was skeef getrek en het getraan. So his eye was all crooked and there was tears running from his eye. Hy het droë rowe tussen sy neus en lippe gehad, so there were scabs on his face, between his nose and his lips. Nattigheid tussen sy neus en sy lippe op sy bo-lip, there was a wetness on his top lip. And the first time they meet, and this is also very important, he tells Tina om vir Stefans Maree geld te gaan vra. So when Tina wants to run away, he actually points out to her that she is standing by the gate to Engelsplaas, which is Stefans Maree's farm. So she knows it's very expensive to go to the dorp school. And this is then the first time that Jacob appears to her, and he tells her, you're standing by the gate, go and ask Stefans for money. So this is the first time that he then gives her advice to change the course of her life. Reg, die tweede keer wat hy aan haar verskyn, is by die skool, at the new school, by die hoof se kantoor, at the principal's office. Hierdie keer is hy skoon, en daar is geen nattigheid op sy gesig nie. He is clean and his face is dry. This time he wears neat clothes, 'n blou pak klere, 'n blue suit, 'n streepies hemp en 'n blou das, 'n blue tie. He drives himself. Hy ry in 'n blou kar. The first time it was a red car, now it's a blue car. Sy gesig is steeds vermink en hy is steeds krippel. So these are all the differences. Dit is die verskille, the differences between the first and the second time. En hierdie is die ooreenkomste, the similarities between the first and the second time. His face is still misformed and he still walks with a limp. And this time he tells Tina to tell Juffrou Dale about the poem that she wrote. Hy sê vir haar sy moet vir Juffrou Dale vertel van die gedig wat sy geskryf het. Die derde keer wat Tina vir Jacob sien, kyk sy TV na 'n kinderprogram en hulle voer 'n onderhoud met 'n tienersakeman. So there's an interview with a teenage businessman on a program on TV. Hierdie keer dra hy 'n swart streepies pak met 'n swart bol hoedjie. He wears a black suit with a black hat. Hy het ook 'n sambreel, which is an umbrella, en 'n swart aktetas. He has a black suitcase with him. Sy oog lyk nog steeds skeef. His eye is still crooked, maar sy neus lyk beter. His nose looks a little bit better. Sy vel lyk sag en gesond. So his skin isn't all scabby anymore. It looks soft and healthy. Sy oor pla nie so baie nie. His ear doesn't bother you so much when you look at him. Hy praat ook duideliker. You'll see in the book, when you read, that every time Jacob speaks to Tina, he speaks very unclear. It's also written with little apostrophes and dots, and you have to sort of try and figure out what it is that he's trying to say. And this is because he is so misformed in his face. But this time when she sees him on TV, he actually speaks very clearly. Right. Wat sê hy hierdie keer vir haar? Hy gee haar advies oor die projek wat hulle moet doen by die skool. Hy sê dat sy moet dink aan wat sy goed kan doen en sy moet met mense saamwerk. So this is advice that he gives her about a project at school, and he tells her that she has to think what she does really well and that she has to work together with other people, which she then does, and we'll look at that a little bit later on. So the fourth time that she sees Jacob, or that she notices him, and also a couple of times thereafter, always in this same setting, Jacob draf saam met Tina om die baan by die skool. So he jogs with her on the field by the school. This time he wears a green tracksuit, groen sweetpak met wit tekkies met groen veters. Hy sweet, he is sweating because he's running, en sy littekens staan uit. His scars are very visible because he is sweating. Hy hardloop sleepvoet, maar hy sukkel nie om by te hou nie. So with his limp leg, he does jog a little bit funny, but he doesn't struggle to keep up with her. What does he tell her this time? Nothing. Hulle hardloop in stilte, en dit maak dit makliker vir Tina. So at this point in the story, Tina has quite a lot going on in her mind, and Jacob's mere presence makes her feel better. He doesn't need to give her any advice at this point. He simply needs to be there with her, and that gives her the peace of mind just to have him there as a companion. Let's look at some of the other characters. Ma Letty is Tina se ma. Sy het swanger geraak op 16, and she saw this as a mistake. She had Tina when she was only 16. Sy is later getroud met Pa Ad. She married Pa Ad. Sy werk as 'n huishulp, 'n domestic worker, op Coetsee's Rus. Sy is baie streng met Tina. She is a strict mother. Sy is baie besorgd oor haar familie. She is very caring of her family. Sy is ook 'n baie praktiese vrou. She is very practical. Sy het baie geweet van die engele van Engelsplaas. She knows a lot about the angels of Engelsplaas. En sy het 'n spesiale verhouding met Stefans se ma gehad. She is referred to in the book as Omis. Right, and we'll talk about her at a later stage. She had a special relationship with Stefans' mother. Stefans Maree is die eienaar van Engelsplaas, the owner of Engelsplaas. Hy is Tina se biologiese pa, al het hy dit nooit beken nie. So even though he never directly admitted it, he was Tina's biological father. Later in die verhaal is daar wel sprake van werklike aanvaarding. Later on in the story, we do see, however, that he accepts her as his daughter. Hy is skaam en 'n goeie man. He is shy and a good man. Hy stem in om Tina se skoolgelde te betaal. He agrees to pay for Tina's school fees. Hy gaan haal soms oor naweke vir Tina om huis toe te kom. So some weekends he fetches Tina to take her home. And in the beginning of the story, he drinks quite a bit, very expensive whiskey. Maar later hou hy heeltemal op met drink, so later on he stops drinking completely. Die band met Tina help hom om vrede te vind. So he also has a struggle in his life, and the bond that he develops with Tina helps him to find peace. Aan die einde van die verhaal gaan hy met Juffrou Dale trou. Towards the end of the story we learn that he is going to marry Juffrou Dale. Kom ons kyk dan ook na Juffrou Dale. Sy is 'n onderwyseres by die skool in die dorp. She is a teacher. Sy gee kuns en kultuur, which is arts and culture. En dan ook ekonomiese en bestuurswetenskappe. And this is EMS, Economic and Management Studies. Or sciences, or studies, I'm not sure. Sympathieke mens, she is very sympathetic. Sy gee om vir Tina en help haar met haar skoolwerk. She cares for Tina and helps her with her schoolwork. Sy speel 'n groot rol om Tina te help om haar omstandighede te aanvaar. She plays a big role to help Tina to accept her circumstances. Sy is ook die eerste een wat reguit vir Tina sê dat Stefans haar biologiese pa is. This is the irony in the story, because everybody knows that Stefans is Tina's biological father, but no one has the guts to tell her outright. Juffrou Dale is then the first person to actually voice the fact that Tina is Stefans' daughter. Reg. Sy trou met Stefans Maree en sy tree op as Tina se tweede ma. She becomes like a second mom to Tina. Reg. Once again, our references come from your textbook. Please make sure that you study this properly.